welcome in Jenny Horne, markets correspondent and co-host of Next Gen, to get a closer look at the details on this news from Alibaba. Tell us a little bit more about this, Jenny.
I do think this is very interesting. Anytime you can see the headline that we're seeing yet another name attempt to rival DeepSeek, I do think that it's a compelling story. So Alibaba is launching its closest thing to a DeepSeek rival, which sent shares then higher. So I think this is encouraging, especially when you look at actually the outperformance of Alibaba already on this year. I mean, even relative to some of its closest Chinese e-commerce peers. But this is frankly the latest string of good news, finally, we could say, for Alibaba, as they did really highlight their boosting their capabilities, really to then again continue to see these models that rival OpenAI and the startup DeepSeek. The news did prompt the shares, though, to close about 8% higher in Hong Kong on the day, helping boost actually the Hang Seng's overall index price. So that was encouraging. But the release of their new AI model does come a day after the launch of a general AI agent called Manus by another company. A video on the website, though, did dedicate Manus, say that softwares can carry out these complex multi-step tasks like screening resumes and creating websites. But according to Reuters, Manus is the creation of this Chinese company known as Monica. So the video does say that while these advanced chatbots are not only able to help obviously deliver various ideas, they're also help to deliver these tangible results. Alibaba, though, touting its latest model in an online statement, delivering what they said was this exceptional performance, almost entirely surpassing OpenAI 01 Mini and rivaling the strongest open source reasoning model, which is DeepSeek's R1. We do know that right now these are, of course, the American version as well as the more low-cost version, but Alibaba did add its model has achieved a quantitative lap in mathematics, coding, and general capabilities with an overall performance that's right now on par with DeepSeek R1. So the company claimed its model has now 32 billion parameters compared to DeepSeek's R1 with around 671 billion parameters. Fewer parameters imply a model is smaller and more efficient to train. So don't necessarily let the size fool you there. But again, encouraging for a name that had rallied over 60% on the year. I think that it's finally time we see some of this momentum hold. We've seen failed breakouts in Alibaba, countless times over the last 5 years. I'm waiting for this one to stick, Diane, although unfortunately the macro conditions not looking so favorable, at least here in the U.S.
No, the macro conditions certainly have been difficult this week, although we did get some upbeat data, but a lot of the data that we've gotten this week has been underwhelming. But I wonder, a big picture for this, if this is about, who can be first to be bigger, better, faster, for cheaper. That's what it seems like is the story here. What's at stake here from your point of view, Jenny?
Cheaper is, I think, the narrative that we're hanging on to, because I feel like for all these companies, it's all about your projected costs, your projected operating margins, your projected capex. It's no longer really about a show me story. It's more of show me how efficiently you can do it. I will say Alibaba's size is definitely helpful, and I just think it's always good context to say when we look at like a JD, who obviously had earnings, we'll be talking about that more later on, but even PDD, Alibaba's 5 times the size of JD.com. So while it definitely has that size and the scale is a benefit, they also have then larger expectations riding on what they can do, because JD to me is still very much in like the early innings of this growth. Alibaba should be there. So the more and more we can hear and the more actually commentary we get from what has always been a strangely managed company, I think it is definitely encouraging. And hey, rising this morning again, a name that's been the leader of so many of these Chinese names that have actually had a pretty solid year thus far.
All right. Yeah, it looks like Alibaba, when it comes to that ADR, will buck the trend that we're seeing in the pre-market this morning. Jenny, thanks a ton for the deep dive into the latest with Alibaba and its progress with its Gen AI model.